you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Peter Dahl. Mr. Dahl, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty fair, too.
That's good. Mr. Dahl, what is your announcement in Ms. Burnett's cases?
We've had some transportation issues. So I have an idea to resolve it, but I have to talk to the DA. And so can we hold it till later in the docket?
Okay, yeah, I'll put it on hold. Ms. Burnett, just have a seat. Mr. Pete. Next case is cause number M333-204. Case is style of state of Texas versus Curtis Satterwhite Jr.
No. Thank you. How are you? I'm alive. That's right.
Mr. Satterwhite, your full name is Curtis Satterwhite Jr.?
Yes.
How are you doing, Mr. Satterwhite? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Satterwhite, you represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Kevin Lane. Mr. Lane, how are you doing?
Fine, Your Honor.
Let's see. Okay, Mr. Lane, what is your announcement in Mr. Satterwhite's case?
Your Honor, we've received all the media and police reports, and we're asking that you put it on the first pretrial docket.
Last 22nd.
Okay, this case will be reset to July. Let's see. Just arrested last year. July 20, what was that? Second. Okay, gonna put it on pretrial conference docket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, when you get your reset, you're free to go. And Mr. Satterwhite, your attorney is gonna get your reset. Once you get your reset from the attorney, you're free to go as well. You have a blessed day. You have a blessed day as well. Okay, he's talking to him. Next case is, let's- It's cause number 23CCCR 1222. Case of style of state of Texas versus Gabriel Isaac Mace. Mr. Mace.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your full name is Gabriel Isaac Mace. Mr. Mace, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Mace, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Tyler LeBlanc. Attorney LeBlanc, how are you doing?
Good.
And Mr. LeBlanc, what is your announcement in Mr. Mace's case?
Judge, we're currently in negotiation. This is our first meeting, I believe, and there's some facts and some issues that I think that's discussed with the prosecutor and some recent developments, so if we can just get a take a reset.
Okay, we keep it on the announcement docket. Okay, I see that you was just recently appointed. There was a recent date, announcement docket. Gabriel Isaac Mace, page 3.
August 16th.
Okay, this case is reset to August 16th, 2024. Mr. Mace, your attorney is going to get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good weekend.
You're welcome. Next case is cause number 23CCCR 1356. Case of style of state of Texas versus Nathaniel Michael Willie. Good morning. Mr. Willie, your full name is Nathaniel Michael Willie.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Willie, you're representing your case by your attorney, Attorney Reagan Minaldi. Ms. Minaldi, how are you doing?
I'm good, Judge, how are you?
Well, fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Minaldi, what is your announcement in Mr. Willie's case?
Yes, Judge, we're just asking for a reset on the announcement docket. I'm in communication with ADA Simmons about this case. She is gonna contact the complainant and we'll know how to move forward.
Okay,
That's correct, Your Honor.
and I see that this is probably your first court
Yes,
setting.
this is our first setting.
Okay, give us a reset date.
August 16th.
Okay, this case will be reset to August 16, 2024. Mr. Willie, you will get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And this is your only case, Ms. Minaldi?
Yes, that's
You're free to go
fine.
as well and you have a
Thank you.
blessed day. You're welcome. Next case is cause, well, she's not here.
It's on. It's on tomorrow.
Okay.
Next case is cause number 23CCCR 2048, case of Style of State of Texas versus Juan Alvarez.
Just gonna hold this for a little while.
Okay, I'll hold. Ms. Alvarez, you can take a seat. Next case is cause number 23CCCR 1382. Case of Style of State of Texas versus Fernando Lopez.
Same enough. You're
You gonna hold that too?
Looking for it.
Okay, should be a plea. And the next case is cause number 23CCCR 2458, case of Style of State of Texas versus, well, two cases, and cause number M333812. Both cases of Style of State of Texas versus Christian Armani James Simeon.
Two cases?
Yes,
I want to hold it, but I only know that one, but I'll get with.
You can forward online with a thing. I see two as well.
We can hold on.
okay, I'll hold. Okay, Mr. Simeon, just have a seat.
Once you come up with us,
Yeah, he's just, did somebody check, look at online, I mean, Simeon, it says something about an active one. Christian Simeon, that's what's on the doc, it said April 12th, 2024. Was that, is that still active? Smith Scott is not here. Uh-huh. Tyron James Houston, please come forward. This is cause number 23CCCR 1404, case of Style of State of Texas versus Tyron James Houston. Mr. Houston, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. Houston? Okay, Mr. Houston. Let's see here, the last time that you were in court on April 9th of 2024, your case was reset to give you an opportunity to hire an attorney. Is that correct? Have you hired your attorney? Okay, well, Mr. Houston, we have to give you some paperwork to fill out. There's a clipboard in the back with the paperwork on it. We need to give him that clipboard. The clipboard that they're gonna hand out to you, there will be two documents that you'll be filling out.
What is he feeling in?
Judge's explanation of rights to defendants without attorney. There you go. Why don't you give him these two? Okay. Okay, those two documents that you're being handed is titled, first docket is Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. And the second docket is waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding in the trial. I'll go over the first document with you. First document says, as a defendant in a criminal case, you have three options. Number one, you may hire an attorney. Do you understand that? Number two, you may request that an attorney be appointed to represent you. Do you understand that option? Number three, you may represent yourself. Now, if you want to hire your own, if you have enough money and you want to hire your own attorney, your case will be reset to give you an opportunity to hire your attorney. Now, if you want an attorney but do not have the money to hire an attorney, then you would have to fill out a financial questionnaire so that the proper person can determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you. Now, if you want to waive your right to an attorney, that is, you want to waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself, then you'll have an opportunity to talk to one of the prosecutors. The prosecutor is an attorney that works for the district attorney's office. They are assistant district attorneys. You'll have an opportunity to talk to one of the attorneys about your case to see if you can work out a plea bargain agreement. Now, but before you are able to talk to any one of the prosecutors, you must first fill out a waiver of your right to have an attorney. The waiver is the second document that is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Now, there are dangers and disadvantages to self-representation. Waiving your right to an attorney representing yourself may result in a worse outcome for you and your case, including the loss of significant rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of a firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status for non-citizens, and employment. Now, if you choose to represent yourself, you may change your mind at any time and request that an attorney be appointed to represent you. At the bottom of that document in bold letters, it states defendant's choice. Mark initials next to only one choice. If your choice is to hire your own attorney and have your case reset, you'll put your initials on the first line to the left. If you have already hired an attorney to represent you in this case, then you'll put your initials on the second line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If your choice is to apply for a court-appointed attorney, then you will place your initials on the third line to the left. If you have already been appointed a court-appointed attorney, in this case to represent you, then you'll place your initials on the fourth line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. Now, if you want to waive your right to an attorney, that is, you want to give up your right to have an attorney to represent you, and you want to represent yourself, then you will place your initials on the fifth line to the left. Once you have finished initialing one of the 5 lines, then you will sign your name at the bottom of that document on the line that is titled defendant, and you will date it today's date, which is June 21st of 2024. Do you understand? Okay, you may make your choice. Now, the next document is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. And this document basically says that I have been advised of the nature and charges against me and the dangers and disadvantages of self-representation. My waiver is 1, voluntarily, which means that no one is forcing you to enter this waiver. You've done it of your own free will. And 2, is intelligently, which means that you know what you're doing. And you're saying that, so my waiver is voluntarily and intelligently made. Furthermore, I have been advised this 21st day of June of 2024 by the County Court of Law, number 2, of my right to representation by counsel in the case pending against me. I have been further advised that if I'm unable to afford counsel, one will be appointed to me free of charge. Understanding my right to have counsel appointed to me free of charge if I'm not financially able to afford counsel, I wish to waive that right and request a court to proceed with my case without an attorney being appointed to represent me. I hereby waive my right to counsel. And if that is your choice, then you will sign your name on the line that is titled defendant, and you would date it today's date. That's what the second document is saying. You're saying you want to, if you waiving your right to an attorney. No, my question is that what you want to do? You want to waive your right to an attorney? Okay, so what do you want to do?
Explain what's outside.
Explain what?
Sheet again.
Huh?
Sheet again.
Which sheet? The waiver is basically saying that you're giving up your right to an attorney and you want to represent yourself. Okay, so what do you want to do?
One, two.
Okay, so you signed that you put your initials on the third line?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to fill out a financial questionnaire. Let's here you go. Get us to him and have him to have a seat at no, give him a clipboard and a pen. Yeah, but he's not gonna stand here. We have other business going on. Give him a clipboard, pen, and have him take a seat in the gallery. And when he's finished filling out that financial questionnaire, now with that financial questionnaire, you have listen. With the financial questionnaire, you have to fill out the first page. You understand that?
Mhm.
And half of the second page. All right. Now make sure you fill out, answer everything that's there. Like if they ask you for your financial information, if you don't have none, for example, if you're not working, and they ask you your monthly income, that's zero. You put a zero there. Don't just leave it blank. If they ask if you're receiving any type of governmental benefits, if you're not, zero. If they ask you if your spouse has an income, and if you're not married, you don't have a spouse, zero. Okay, so whatever does not apply to you financially, or if you don't have it, just put zero. And then at the bottom of the document, it asks for total. You're gonna total everything that's in that column. Okay, everything that's in that column, right? So if you have one thing in that column, and that's, let's say, for example, that one thing in that column says $100. You got one, and everybody, and all the other things is zero. When you get to the bottom, the total is gonna be 100. Okay, now on the other side of that document, on the right side at the bottom, it asks for expenses. For example, whether or not you pay rent, mortgage, or anything of that nature. If you're not, zero. Then it asks for child support. If you're not paying child support, zero. All right, or if you are paying child support, you put that amount in there. Okay, the other thing is it asks for utilities. For example, if you're paying utilities, put the amount you're paying. That's like gas, water. If you're not, zero. They ask for gas, for example, transportation costs. Now, when you get to transportation costs, what we look at is how much you're paying per month on gas. If you have a car note, you have car insurance, right? Add all of that up. That's transportation costs. Now, if you're paying for Uber or you're paying somebody to give you rides, you add that into it, okay? And you just go down, and then when you get to the bottom of that document, add everything in that column, and it'll be a total, okay? So just have a seat in the gallery and fill that information out. That gentleman is waiting.
He's trying to help you.
Oh, but he has his hand up for some reason. Hold on, just start speaking out loud in court. Doesn't work like that. Okay, just tell the bailiff what you need. Are you a defendant here? Are you here for court? Okay, I understand that. Well, tell the bailiff what.
Waiving rights to any lawyer, he's gonna plead guilty to any charge.
Well, he didn't say that. So he's representing himself, right? That he just told me he wanted to get a court-appointed attorney. When you first came up, you said you wanted to represent yourself. And when I went over it with you and asked if you wanted to represent yourself, you said, no, I don't want to do that. I want an attorney. Okay? I'm just going on what you're saying. I mean, if there's any confusion, that's why we have the form. That's why I went over the form with you. There are 5 categories at the bottom of that form. I told you to put your initials on one of the 5 lines. I explained each line to you as I went, and I asked you which one, when I said, okay, you wanted to waive, you said, no, you wanted a court-appointed attorney. And I'm looking at the document that you have here. You says, your document is saying, I have a court-appointed attorney whose name is blank. Okay, so once you get this document back to him, have him come back up. Once you come back up. Could you the bailiff is gonna assist. He's gonna assist you. Just have a seat here. Well, he didn't tell me that. He's saying that he wants to represent himself, so he needs his signature should be on line 5, not line 4. Okay, Mr. Houston, would you please come back up? Okay, Mr. Houston, would you please raise your right hand? You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let me put your hand down. Mr. Houston, I have before me two documents. First document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Further. Do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? And are these your initials on the line that state you want to waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself? I also have another document that is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Okay, now, Mr. Houston, before you sign and initial these documents, did you read the documents? Did you understand what you read? Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay, Mr. Houston, just have a seat, and one of the prosecutors is going to come out and talk to you about your case. Okay, you can just have a seat. Let's see. Yeah, but I don't.
You know, maybe I'm not sure she's available, but I don't know if she's.
Okay, yeah, you can try to locate her. If she doesn't make an appearance before we end the document, then we'll see what about forfeiture.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aaron Tompkins? No. Is, it must be him. Oh. Is that Mr. Tompkins? Right there, okay.
So make sure you go off. Here's the other forfeiture form.
Hey, you can't have a phone in the courtroom. If you have it on, you need to put it on silent or turn it off. Manipulate. Let's see. Mr. Jeffers says his. So we have, okay, which, let's see, Alvarez?
Yes, sir, Alvarez and Simeon.
Okay, this is cause number 23 CCCR 2048, case of style of state of Texas versus Juan Alvarez. Ms. Alvarez, would you please come forward? Hey, Mr. Alvarez, your full name is Juan Alvarez?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Alvarez, how are you doing? You're doing okay? That's good. Ms. Alvarez, you're representing your case by your attorney, Attorney Charlie Rojas. Attorney Rojas, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge.
That's good. Mr. Rojas, what is your announcement in Mr. Alvarez's case?
Judge, on Mr. Alvarez's case, I was speaking with Mr. Hubel. There's a video. Mr. Hubel would like to kind of look at that video and maybe we can move the case along after he sees it.
Okay, and give us a reset date.
August 6th.
This case is reset to August 16th. Once you get your reset from your attorney, Mr. Alvarez, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day. You can have a seat.
Thank you, Judge.
Next case is cause number 23 CCCR 1382. Case of style of state of Texas versus, which one you doing, Lopez?
I'm gonna plead Lopez. I need to see, Simeon.
Simeon? Okay. The next two cases, the cause numbers 23 CCCR 2458 and cause number M333812. Both cases of style of state of Texas versus Christian Armani James Simeon. Mr. Simeon, your full name is Christian Armani James Simeon. How are you doing, Mr. Simeon? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Simeon. You represented in your cases by your attorney, Attorney Charles Rojas. Attorney Rojas, what is your announcement?
Judge, as the court pointed out earlier this morning, Mr. Simeon also has a trespass I was not aware of, but he also has a felony pending, and I would have, I think he's got a court coming up soon. He doesn't have an attorney on that felony yet. I asked to reset to see what's gonna happen with that felony.
Okay, State, do you have any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Give us a reset date.
Is the felony equated with the?
Yes, you're gonna put it with the felony, right?
That's fine.
And you looked a little confused, Mr. Simeon.
Going to court all the same time for all three?
Well, yeah, unless you want to come on different days, do you work?
No, sir, I mean, I don't mind that, I wanted to keep that felony separate from this.
It is separate. We're just trying to make it convenient for you where you don't have to keep coming to court on different days. You can just come on one day and take care of all your cases when you come. That's the purpose. Now, if you want to come 3-4 times a week, we can make that possible too. Okay, so what you want to do?
I want a separate, court date.
Okay, just give them a court date.
You won't come under the same court.
The felony is for July 18th.
What he said.
You won't be going to the same, you're gonna have a different judge for the felony, just when you get done with the felony, you come down here. So you're going to come on another day.
So keep them on the same date.
Okay, July 18th.
Okay, Mr. Simeon, your cases will be reset to July 18, along with your felony cases. That's already set on that day. Now, on that day, what you need to do, when you come to court, check in with the bailiff, let them know you're here, and then go take care of your felony. And then when you finish there, you're gonna come back here and let us know what happened. All right, get your reset, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day. Thank you. Let me do this here. Have him to come back up. You had that, you say you're not working?
No, no,
Oh, you're in school?
I'm gonna go back to school, obviously.
Okay. We might need to give him a, hold on a minute. How old are you?
19.
19. Give you a brochure to Lamar University has a program called CICE. Stands for Center for Innovation, Commercialization, and Entrepreneurship. It's a job training and job placement program. Okay. You might want to look into that program. There's a number on there you might want to call. And if you decide to get a GED, they have a GED program as well. Okay. You already graduated? Okay, well, you need to talk to them about that job training program.
Yes,
Okay, it's in the hotel industry, shipping industry, chemical industry. Once you're trained in one of those areas, they will assist you in getting a job in the area that you trained in.
yes, sir.
Okay, and it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. All right, you're welcome. What's with it? Charles Boyd. Who's the attorney on that?
That's Mr. Warren.
Okay,
Good morning, Your Honor.
good morning. This is cause number 23 CCCR 1454. Case is style of state of Texas versus Charles Boyd. Mr. Boyd, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Boyd, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Boyd, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Boyd, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Boyd? You doing all right? That's good. And Mr. Boyd, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Jack Lawrence. Attorney Lawrence, how are you doing?
Just fine, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lawrence, do you waive a record in Mr. Boyd's case?
Yes, we'll waive a record this time.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, I have before me a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, it alleges that you, Charles Boyd, on or about June 12th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest detention. Mr. Boyd, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Boyd, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
No.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Boyd, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, CB, on a line next to a box that says check nolo contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box says check states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have a document on paper that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Boyd, before you signed and initialed these documents, all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Lawrence, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand everything that Mr. Lawrence went over?
Yes, yeah.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Boyd, are you a citizen of the United States?
State offer states one.
Any objections to state's exhibit number one?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
No objection. State's exhibit number one will be admitted. Mr. Lawrence, you have advised and counseled Mr. Boyd, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Oh, none at all, Your Honor.
And Mr. Boyd, your attorney, Mr. Lawrence, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt state. Do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of no contest, the state's offering 90 days probated over 1 year, a $500 fine, and 40 hours community service plus court cost.
Okay, what is this court cost? Yes. 277. Yes, thank you. Let's see.
Okay. I did it.
It's not that. You change. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 for score costs of $277. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month, a urinalysis fee of $15 a month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to reimburse Jefferson County Court appointed attorney's fees of $250. Now, your total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month while you're on probation is $177 a month. Will you be able to pay the $177 each month? No? You're shaking your head, no. Okay, you just let me know whether or not you can pay it.
Can you know it?
Yeah, but you have to tell me whether or not you can pay it. Okay, all right. Now, let me, do we have a copy of his affidavit of indigence? Just hold on a minute. Huh?
Your job might play out. Do you know definitely? Do you know definitely?
Okay, Mr. Boyd.
Huh?
Okay, Mr. Boyd, I have before me a document that is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. I'm going to, what's the matter? This here? I'm going to, I'm going to hand this document to your attorney. He's going to hand this document to you for you to review. Mr. Would you please hand that document to your client?
Your Honor, Mr.
Hold
Boyd.
on, Mr. Could you hand that document to your client? Okay, now, Mr. Boyd, do you recognize that document?
Okay.
Okay, now on page 2 of that same document, there's a signature on the top left-hand side above a line that is titled Defendant. Signature, is that your signature?
Yes, sir, that's my
Now,
signature.
on that document, is everything in that document still true and correct today?
It is, but at the end of this month, my job is going to shut completely down.
Okay, but currently you're still working.
Just for this.
I understand, but I'm saying currently.
I have it
Okay,
for him.
let me do this here now. When we assess fines and court costs, when we determine whether or not somebody's indigent or not, we don't determine whether or not you're indigent in the future or the past. The determination of indigency is your present situation. Do you understand that? Because there are provisions in the Code of Criminal Procedure that allows for, if a person is indigent in the future, things can happen. There are certain code provisions, but we are not there. You know, the old folks used to say it's kind of like putting a cart before the horse. We haven't. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. We're not at that bridge now. Okay.
All right.
So right now, currently, everything on that document is still true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, based on the information in the document, the court is gonna find that you are indigent. And based on the finding of indigency, what the court is going to do is the fine and court costs, the fine of $500 and the court costs of $277 will be converted to community service, right? That is, you won't have to pay it, you'll have to perform community service. It will be converted to 62 hours of community service. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Also, the $250 attorney's fees will be waived pursuant to Article 26.05 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Section G-11. That means you won't have to pay the $250 because it's being waived, because the court has found that you're indigent. And the probation fee of $60 each month will be reduced to the statutory minimum of $25 a month. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you will be required to pay your analysis fee of $15 a month and your reimbursement fee of $15. Now, your total monthly installments that you will be required to pay each month is $45 a month. Will you be able to pay the $45 each month?
Yes, sir.
Now, you will also, you're required to perform 40 hours of community service as part of this plea bargain. Now, that 40 hours of community service, which was already part of the plea bargain, will be in addition to the 62 hours that was converted from fine and court costs. So you will be required to perform a total of 102 hours of community service. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you understand the state's offer and the adjustments that the court have made because of your status of being indigent?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept it?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay. I'll follow the plea bargain agreement along with the adjustments and the findings that the defendant is defended. And pursuant to Article 42.15, Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, fine and court costs will be converted to 62 hours of community service. And pursuant to Article 26.05, Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Section G-11, the attorney's fees will be waived. And the court will reduce the probation fees from $60 a month to the statutory minimum of $25 a month. You will be required to pay a $15 reimbursement fee and your analysis fee of $15 a month. So your total monthly installments will be $45 a month. You'll be required to perform the 62 hours of community service in addition to the 40 hours of community service, which comes to a total of 102 hours of community service. Now, Mr. Boyd, I'll follow this plea bargain agreement. This will conclude your case. Now, the court coordinator have to adjust the paperwork with the changes that I've made. And so it's going to take her a few minutes to do that. You can just have a seat. And then when she's ready for you, she's going to ask you to come up to her window. And then you'll follow the directions of the bailiff. And once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Lawrence, you're free to go as well. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you need this back?
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Judge, on may I approach you on this?
Okay. Would you please come forward? Okay, hold on a minute.
Did you speak with the engineer?
Yeah, 160 days.
Okay.
Okay, Tarika Barnett, would you please come forward? What is this back in session? The cause number is 23CCCR 1502, cause number 23CCCR 2550. Both cases are styled state of Texas versus Tarika Tennille Barnett. Ms. Barnett, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Ms. Barnett, you're represented again in your case by your attorney, Peter Dahl. Ms. Dahl, what is your announcement in Ms. Barnett's cases?
We would like to have another 60 days in order to see if we can make the plea arrangements.
You need 60 days to make plea arrangements.
She wants to talk to her grandmother.
I understand that. So what I can do, I can set it on a, this case, you were appointed on this case back in November of 2023. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on the pretrial conference docket.
In 60 days. That'll work.
Well, whatever date that she gives us, I think is somewhere in that area, but she need all of that time to talk to her grandmother.
We think it would be prudent to do it.
No, I'm just saying, do you think you need that much time for her to just talk to her grandmother? Her grandmother lives out of town or in another state or something?
I don't know where her grandmother lives.
Your grandmother lives with you?
No, sir.
Okay, she lives in Beaumont?
No, sir. She lives out of town.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you need 60 days to talk to your grandmother?
We think so.
I'm asking her the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just answered that because he said, we think so. Okay. I was born in the day, but not yesterday. Okay? Okay, so give us a court date. We're gonna put it on a pretrial, well, this is 2023. Let's put it on a trial docket. Yeah. No, she said it put on a trial docket. So,
Okay. It'll be August 19th.
okay, case to be reset August 19th. On that day, we either go to trial or plead. Okay,
Are we free to go?
once you get your reset, you're free to go.
Okay, Judge.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, you're welcome. All right. DeAndre Richard Hill. Oh, yeah, I see you have two of them that's already up here. Okay,
There's 2 yard and 1 is this.
I see that. Okay, I'm gonna do the one that's. In Jefferson County Court, law number 2 is back in session in 3 cases. They are cause numbers 23CCCR 2294, cause number M330618, cause number M332244. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus DeAndre Rashad Hill. Mr. Hill, is that your full name? Okay, how you doing, Mr. Hill?
Hello.
You doing fine? Okay, that's good. Now, Mr. Hill, you're represented in your cases by your attorney Benjamin Jeffers. Attorney Jeffers, how are you doing?
Doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Jeffers, do you waive a record in Mr. Hill's cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill, in cause number M330618, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, Mr. Hill, it alleges that you, DeAndre Rashad Hill, on or about September 18 of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offensive theft. Mr. Hill, do you understand what you have been charged with? To this charge, Mr. Hill, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Now, before we go any further, I did swear you in, right? Did I swear you in?
Not sure.
No, okay. Would you please raise your right hand, the other hand? Mr. Hill, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you can put your hand down. Let me go over this again. I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, Mr. Hill, it alleges that on or about September 18th of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offensive theft. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, BH, and the initials are on a line next to a box that's checked no contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? On the next document, that's titled discovery certification, that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document? Now, at the bottom of this document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have another document that is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Hill, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Jeffries went over? Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Hill, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State officer makes one.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Jeffries, you advised and counseled Mr. Hill. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hill, your attorney, Mr. Jeffries, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Hill, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of no contest, the state's offering 18 months deferred, a $350 fine, 60 hours community service plus court costs. This is to run concurrent with containing case M332244 and dismissal of 23 CCCR 2294.
Mr. Jeffers, were you appointed in these cases?
Yes, sir.
On this one, is it 250 in this one? Because we had two cases. please.
I'll do 250 on that one, yes. But this one ain't.
Yeah, the other one will be 50.
Mhm.
How the other one will be 50?
Yes, and this court call is 337.
Mr. Hill, the state is offering that you serve 18 months deferred adjudicated probation during that 18-month probationary period. You'll be required to pay a fine of $350. You'll be required to pay court costs of $337. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, reimbursement fee of $15. Will also be required to reimburse Jefferson County Court appointed attorney's fees of $250. The total monthly installments, that is a total amount that you will be required to pay each month is $135 a month. Will you be able to pay the $135 each month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, may I see his affidavit of interest? It is probably.
618.
Mhm. He probably have, it's probably in one of his cases. Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Hill, I have before me a document that is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. I'm going to hand this document to your attorney, and he will pass this document to you for you to review. Mr. Hill, do you recognize that document?
Yes,
Is that your signature on the second page, top left-hand side?
yes, sir.
Above the line inside the defendant. Now, Mr. Hill, is everything in that document still true and correct today? Okay, you can go ahead on and make a change in terms, is it the difference is on your finances? Is that has, okay, that have changed?
Not a Texas.
Okay, Mr. Hill, now you made some adjustments on this document. Now, is everything on this document still true and correct? Everything on this document true and correct? Okay. I just want to make sure. Now, Mr. Hill, the court is going to find that you are indigent based on the finding of indigency. The fine of $350 plus the court cost of $337 will be converted to 55 hours of community service. The probation fee of $60 a month will be reduced to the statutory minimum of $25 a month. The analysis fee is $15 a month, and the reimbursement fee is $15, which comes to, and the attorney's fees of $250 will be waived pursuant to Article 26.05 G-11. Because the court is finding that you are indigent, and so pursuant to Article 42.15 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, as I mentioned earlier, your finding court costs will be waived, and pursuant to Article 26.05 G-11, the attorney's fees will be waived, and the court costs, not the court costs, but the probation fee will be reduced to the statutory minimum of $25 a month. The reimbursement fee is $15, and your analysis fee is $15 a month. So you'll be required to pay a total of $43 each month. Will you be able to pay the $43 each month?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service. This 60 hours of community service is in addition to the 55 hours of community service that you are required to perform that was converted from fine and court costs. So you will be required to perform a total of 115 hours of community service. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You will also be, let's see. The state will be dismissing cause number 23 CCCR 2294. And this case will run concurrent with the companion case, cause number M332244. Mr. Hill, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hill, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Hill, we'll move on to your next case. Your next case is cause number M332244. And I have before me in that case a document that is titled Information. And in this information, it alleges that you, DeAndre Rashad Hill, on or about June 23rd of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Mr. Hill, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? And are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? And Mr. Hill, I also have before me on this tablet a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? And on page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials DH on a line next to a box that says check no contingent, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature? On the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
I also have a document before me on paper that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hill, before you sign and initial these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Jeffries went over?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State I have before me. Okay.
No, sir.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 is admitted. Mr. Jeffries, you advising counsel, Mr. Hill, in this case as well, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
And Mr. Hill, your attorney, Mr. Jeffries, is advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Hill, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of no contest, the state's offering 18 months deferred, $350 fine, 60 hours community service, and this is to run concurrent with the companion case. And the state has agreed to dismiss cause 23 CCCR 2294.
front form. I changed it to check right here. but No,
It's not checked?
not on that last one.
Oh, yeah, you just have to. On this page. What was the court cost?
Twenty-two forty. Oh, no, because we should. It's just the. It's just the whole, but we don't recognize. They don't recognize. Give me 1 second. Um,
59? Okay, Mr. Hill, the court had previously found that you were indigent. Now, the attorney's fees of $50 will be waived pursuant to Article 26.05 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Section G-11. The fine of $350 plus court costs of $402 will be converted to 63 hours of community service.
Yes, sir.
And you'll be required, actually, you know what? Yeah, he don't have to pay that. Now, you would be required to pay a fine of $25 a month for probation fee, $15 a month for your analysis fee, and $15 a month reimbursement fee. However, because you're already on probation, you will not be required to pay that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because they don't require that you pay it twice. When you're already on probation on the case, you just pay it in one case. You pay a one-time fee. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now the paperwork is going to show that you are required to pay your probation fee of $25 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, and the reimbursement fee of $15. But the probation officer, when they see the two judgments, you will not be required to pay the reimbursement fee. You will not be required to pay the reimbursement fee, the probation fee, or the analysis fee. So it'll be zero. Okay, but they make that adjustment at the probation office, not here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the 63 hours of community service that was converted for fine and court costs will be in addition to the 60 hours of community service that's part of this plea bargain. So it comes to a total of 123 hours of community service. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
In this case. Now, the state will be dismissing cause number 23CCCR 2294. And this case will run concurrent with cause number M 330618. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Hill, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Hill, do you accept the state's offer in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Hill, I'll follow plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Hill, if you successfully complete your probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It would not result in a conviction on your record. And you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. Now, Mr. Hill, we're going to have you to take a seat. It's going to take a few minutes for our court coordinator to redo the paperwork. Once she redoes the paperwork, she's going to ask that you come back up to a window, follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Jeffries, I think these are your only cases. You're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Who we have next? Nakia Prescott? What is it? Is that a plea? Okay, just have a seat. She's doing the paperwork. I didn't.
Well,
Now, is Mr. Rojas is a plea too? And what about Mr. Mason? Here's a plea too?
I have another one, good.
Okay, which one is not the plea? Is it
Melissa Bruno.
Bruno? Okay, this is cause number 23 CCCR 0298, case of style of state of Texas versus Alyssa Page Bruno. Ms. Bruno, would you please come forward? How are you doing, Ms. Bruno? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking, Ms. Bruno. You're represented in your case by your attorney John Macy. Attorney Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor, thank you.
That's good. Mr. Macy, what is your announcement in Ms. Bruno's case?
Your Honor, this is our first appearance on this. My understanding from looking at the discovery is that there may, I believe there's going to be another case filed against her. That I talked to Mr. Ewell, and he said the same thing to me. But
Okay.
they hadn't filed.
Now, let me ask you this here. Did the other case that has not been filed, is it out of the same criminal episode?
Yes. They were.
Because that was back in, back in February of 23.
I
And so they
understand.
haven't filed anything since?
I don't know, Judge. All I know is that.
Is it a
said that
misdemeanor?
there
Is it a
was
felony or
that
what?
yeah,
Oh, it may be waiting on some kind of,
That was
Test.
Mr. Ewell's guess, but he wasn't sure, when I talked to him this morning. And so, to be on the safe side, I think it ought to be reset so we can see whether or not they're gonna actually argue with it
yeah,
or
they have
not.
a 2-year statute of limitations, so. And we passed 1 year, so. Let's see, they got about 8 months left, I think. Close to 8 months left to file, if they're gonna file.
I can't speak to his communications with Mr.
Yeah.
Google, but I don't see anything that's been received yet, but
Yeah, so the agency haven't even sent it to the district attorney's office.
Yeah.
They may or may not. We never
I
know.
understand.
Okay,
That's why
so
I was a
just
little confused.
give us a reset. Keep it on the announcement docket.
August 16th.
Okay, this case will be reset to August 16th, 2024. Mr. Macy, you can get your reset. And Ms. Bruno, once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank
Judge.
you.
don't forget to sign it, it's a long.
Oh, here.
Okay, now. Well, no, she's not gonna have the probation fee. Do I still need to put that in there? Probation fee reduced? No, I don't need to put that in. Because I want to pay probation fee on the first one.
Hmm?
The probation.
You can put it, you can put it reduced. They make the adjustments at the, yeah. Probation office will make those adjustments.
Oh, but I will not type in the number, I'm just gonna zero.
No, when you type in a number, you just gonna type in that it's been,
25 on the first one.
25 is gonna be on both cases. What it's saying, you have to type it like that, and the probation department will make the adjustment.
Oh,
You still have to type it in that he's been assessed it.
The fee, and on the second case, because of the zero.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah.
Probation.
Okay, well, do it like you're supposed to do it, if that's the case. I thought that they used to just put it on there and the probation officer used to make the adjustment. Okay. Okay. Wait, next. Let me see what everybody else is waiting on, please. What about, did y'all get a chance to talk to Mr. Houston?
This is on it.
His is on there too.
I'm about to put Mr. Hill's second case. You know.
Mr. Hill. Oh, you're talking about this, okay, on the judgment. Everybody waiting on, please. I guess we, oh, it's Mr. Rogers. I guess we can do that bond forfeiture. Since it's, uh, okay, Ms. Barazo. Um, you need to get that form that says waiver of jury trial,
Okay.
and you and your client will fill it out before we go forward. Next case is cause number M 333-276, case of Solid State of Texas versus Catherine Millie Farlow. Catherine Furlow was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. At about 9 a.m., the court called the name of Catherine Furlow at the courthouse door. Catherine Furlow did not answer. Catherine Furlow has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 10:55 a.m. on today's date of June 21st of 2024. Mr. Benz, would you please call the name of Catherine Furlow at the courthouse door? I see that it says set with felony. Does she have a felony set today?
It's on the MTRV, yeah.
Is that set today?
September.
Oh, it's not set today?
No answer, Your Honor.
Okay. Catherine Furlow's name was just called again at the courthouse door by the coach bailiff. Catherine Furlow did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Furlow an opportunity to appear in court. She has not appeared in court. So do you have a motion? That motion will be granted. Catherine Furlow's bond will be forfeited and a warrant should be issued for her arrest in cause number M 333-276.
You're saying that that's not, you know, that we can't do that.
Now, Mr. Again, you can't commit an offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or against the United States. You shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time as directed by the court. The court may revoke your bond in order that you be arrested and put in jail if, one, you refuse to submit to a test, a drug test or an alcohol test when directed to do so by the court, or if you submit to a test for drugs and alcohol and a test in the case of presence of drugs, alcohol in your body. Now, the other thing is you shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense. And you shall not go near any residence, school, or other location frequented by the alleged victim. And you are prohibited from possessing a firearm or ammunition unless you're a peace officer as defined by Section 107 of the Penal Code, actively engaged in employment as a sworn full-time paid employee. And you shall wear a global positioning monitoring system, commonly referred to as GPS, at your expense with written verification being submitted to court within 3 days. That'll be 3 days upon your release from jail, and you must have this GPS attached before you are released. Do you understand that? Okay. I know you probably was concerned about the GPS, but the court is more concerned about the safety of the community, because I notice here that this new case that you have allegedly occurred while you are out on bond under bond conditions. Okay. So, we're not trying to try the case right now. You'll have your time in court. You have an attorney, he's quite able. He will be able to, if you want a jury trial, you have a right to have a jury trial. And he's quite able, he can present the case to the jury in the best way possible. Okay. So, you get out of jail today, you need 3 days. Well, 3 days to get that notice to us to let us know that you have that GPS monitor. And I think whoever you go to, they'll send it to the court as well. Okay, but we need to get confirmation that you have this GPS. All right. Now you can have a seat.
Yeah.
Just follow the bailiff.
Your Honor, since Mr. London is indigent, is there some mechanism for, since the court's requiring him to have a GPS and pay for it, if he's indigent, he can't afford, I'm not sure he can afford a GPS. And so then he would be stuck in jail. The whole
Monitor for a year with the same case.
Now, he just said he was on the monitor for
I
you.
was for a year and it was dismissed. I
Okay,
didn't know she even worked at
okay,
the hospital. when I went to go check
Mr.
my
London,
home.
Mr. London,
My case is.
your
was
case is
dismissed.
not being tried.
The reason why I was on the monitor, she works at the hospital when I went there for my broken arm. I didn't even know she worked there. My luck happened that I fell off of a dirt bike and broke my arm. She works at St. Elizabeth. I go up there for medical attention. She sees me and went left. She took this is why I'm here now. My case, the case that I had against, what she had against me was dismissed.
You got 3 cases.
I know, and the case.
That's
that
why
I
you're
have
here now.
Is because I went to the hospital that I had to get
No.
medical attention.
You
I
here,
have paperwork
you
and
here,
everything.
listen, Mr. London, you here now on a new resistant arrest. That has nothing to
That's
do with
because
you.
the officer didn't know that I had a broken arm and I was moving
Okay,
my
but that's
arm
not
a certain way.
that doesn't have
He
anything
didn't
to,
even know. He released me from the
Mr. London,
hospital. He didn't even take me to jail.
listen, Mr. London. That does not have anything to do with, you have 2 resistant arrest
That's
cases.
because-
Listen, on different dates, you have a violation of a protective order
I went to
on a
the
different
hospital
day.
for medical attention, sir.
I understand, but
She
listen,
works there. I
Mr.
didn't know
London,
she
Mr.
worked
London,
there.
Mr. London, Mr. London. I keep telling you the same thing over and over,
She worked.
and you keep doing the same thing. You're not gonna get a different result. You have an attorney who is appointed to represent you. He's persistently telling you not to say anything, and you are not obeying what your attorney is telling you. Well, you don't, okay, Mr. London, Mr. London, close your mouth. Don't say anything. I'm trying to get you to understand something. You are talking while I'm talking. Okay, just listen. He is ordered to pay. He's ordered to get a GPS. He just said with his own mouth, he was on it for a year and he had a GPS, right? Now you're saying that, oh, he can't afford a GPS. He was, okay. So at this time, the GPS is ordered, okay? Okay. Now, technically, the court can have a hearing on revoking your bond for you being out on bond, and you getting a new case, which is a violation of your bond condition. Okay. So the court is amending your bond conditions. So at this time, Mr. London, you're gonna follow the bailiff? Just follow the bailiff. Okay. You said, well, you don't have to.
Yeah, Mr. Lopez does not speak English.
He doesn't speak English? Is he a citizen?
He is.
Okay. Okay, this is cause number 23 CCCR 1382, case of style of state of Texas versus Fernando Lopez. Mr. Lopez does not speak English. However, his attorney Charles Rojas, does speak English and Spanish. And Mr. Rojas, would you raise your right hand? Mr. Rojas, do you swear or affirm to interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish to help you God?
I do.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Rojas, ask Mr. Lopez if his name is Fernando Lopez.
Yes.
Okay. Ask Mr. Lopez to raise his right hand. Mr. Lopez, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Lopez?
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Charles Rojas. Mr. Rojas, again, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Rojas, do you waive a record in Mr. Lopez's case?
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Lopez, I have before me a document that has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Information Sheet. And this information sheet, Mr. Lopez, it alleges that on or about May 22nd of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the class. I say you check class B.
It should be.
No, you check, you would have to check the A up here.
It's a 0.15. Okay, well, that's.
Yeah, the Texas legislature just made it a class A. They didn't have to do a category like here. Okay. Now, Mr. Lopez, to the charge of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
You can just check the class A box, erase the one that says, because that box that you checked is class B. Even though it has DWI, it's DWI first, okay. Now, Mr. Lopez, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of the same document, there are several initials. FL, are these your initials on this document?
Yes.
And that document, the initials on the line next to the box says check guilty. Now, on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez, I also have a document on paper that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes.
And did you read it and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
Any objections to State's Exhibit number 1? No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Rojas, you have advised and counseled Mr. Lopez. Is there any evidence that Mr. Lopez is mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Lopez, your attorney, Mr. Rojas, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the
In
agreement?
exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 90 days prorated over 1 year, $500 fine, 60 hours community service, DWI education and interlock plus court costs.
What's the court cost in this case? Mr. Rojas, were you appointed?
I was, Your Honor.
377. and she'll add in $100 to do it for DWI.
Yes. 377. Okay, Mr. Lopez. The state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $500, a DPS fine of $100, court costs of $377, a probation fee of $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, a reimbursement fee, $15, and a $250 fee to reimburse Jefferson County for the court-appointed attorney's fees. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $195 a month. Will you be able to pay the $195 a month?
Yes.
You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, attend and complete a DWI education class, have an alcohol assessment, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of DWI probation. Mr. Lopez, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Lopez, this will conclude your case. Please stand in front of the court coordinator. Where's the bailiff? Well, just have a seat, and then when the bailiff comes in, you come up to the court coordinator's window. Just have a seat in that first chair on the wall. Mr. Rojas. Next case is cause number 23CCCR 0292. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Nakia Prescott. Miss Prescott, your full name is Nakia Prescott?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Prescott, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Ms. Prescott, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Prescott?
Fine, are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Prescott, your attorney of record in this case is Attorney Giles Cole. Now, Attorney Cole is not here, however, standing in for Mr. Cole is Attorney Charles Rojas. Does Attorney Rojas have your permission to stand in for Mr. Cole?
Yes, sir. We had got everything understood before he left, so.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rojas, do you waive a record in Ms. Prescott's case?
We do, Your Honor.
Ms. Prescott, I have before me a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, it alleges that you, Nakia Prescott, on or about January 12th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Ms. Prescott, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
To this charge, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty or no contest?
Guilty?
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Ms.
I understand
Prescott.
my mistakes.
Okay. Now, Ms. Prescott, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials NP that are on the line next to boxes that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defender. Is this your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defender's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defender?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
I also have before me a document on paper that's titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defender?
Yes.
Mr. Prescott, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
Is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And Ms. Prescott, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
Say that for me.
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Rojas, you have advised in counsel, Ms. Prescott, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
I spoke with Mr. Cole about it, Judge, he has no concerns about that.
Okay. Now, Ms. Prescott, you have been advised in counsel by Mr. Rojas. Are you satisfied with his services?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
You've also been advised and counseled by Mr. Giles Cole. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Prescott, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in Ms. Prescott's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 1 year deferred, $400 fine, and 40 hours community service plus court costs.
Was Mr. Cole appointed? Probably was.
Yes.
Okay. What is her court cost? $277. Ms. Prescott,
Yes,
state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $400. You'll be required to pay probation fee of $60 a month. You'll be, your analysis fee of $15 a month, reimbursement fee of $15, for costs of $277. You'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County Court appointed attorney's fees of $250. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $167 a month. Will you be able to pay $167 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 40 hours of community service and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Ms. Prescott, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes,
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
definitely.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Ms. Prescott, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Prescott, this will conclude your case. Ms. Prescott, if you successfully complete the probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not result in a conviction on your record. And you may qualify for a non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because your attorney is quite competent in those matters.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Prescott, you're gonna stand in front of our court coordinator,
Okay.
follow her directions and the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following their directions, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day.
You as well. Thank you.
Next case is cause number 23 CCCR 1519, case of Style State of Texas versus Aaron Jerome. Oh, well, this is not a plea, it's a dismissal. He has a plea too?
There's two cases. Judge.
Okay. Oh, okay, she hadn't typed that one up, okay. We just need to, just have a seat, the other case is not ready yet. Next case is cause number 23 CCCR 1404, case of South State of Texas versus Tyrone James Houston. Mr. Houston, would you please come forward? Mr. Houston, your full name is Tyrone James Houston. How are you doing, Mr. Houston? You doing good? That's good. Now, Mr. Houston, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Houston, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Mr. Houston, you may put your hand down. Mr. Houston, I have before me two documents. First document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. And Mr. Houston, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Yes. And are these your initials on the line stating you want to waive your right to an attorney, which means give up your right to an attorney and represent yourself? I also have another document. This document is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Now, Mr. Houston, before you sign and initial these documents that I just showed you, did you read the documents? Did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Now, Mr. Houston, you have a right to have a record made by the court reporter, or you have a right to waive or give up your right to have a record. Do you waive or give up the right to have a record? Well, you do. Now, Mr. Houston, I have before me on my computer a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information sheet alleges that you, Tyrone James Houston, on or about June 2nd of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest, detention. Mr. Houston, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Houston, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Houston, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments, also labeled State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials on two sets of initials. First set of initials is on is below a paragraph that is titled waiver, and it is on a line, well, they are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document? And this, the second set of initials is below a paragraph that is titled discovery, admonishment, and your initials are on a line next to a statement that reads as follows. I do not request discovery of this, well, of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line entitled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. First box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? Now, Mr. Houston, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read these documents? Did you understand what you read? Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Now, Mr. Houston, are you a citizen of the United States?
State offer state court.
Now, Mr. Houston, the state is offering state's exhibit number 1 to be used as evidence in your case. State's exhibit number 1 is the first document on the tablets that I showed you. This is the same document that have your initials in the 2 locations on page 2 and your signature at the top of this document on page 3. The state would like to use this document as evidence in your case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as the evidence in your case? Okay, no objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Houston, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? Okay, there's no evidence of you being incompetent. Mr. Houston, I will accept your plea. In this case, I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plead guilty, the state's offering 1 year deferred probation, $500 fine, 80 hours community service as court cost.
What's court cost? Okay, 80 hours community service. Now, Mr. Houston, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. That simply means you'll be placed, this case will not result in conviction. So you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, we gotta find 277 and 250 for what? He represents himself.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, hold on. This.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You just slow down, slow down. Okay, let me do this. I need to calculate you. Now this is okay. Okay. 162. It's one of those days. Okay, now, Mr. Houston, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine, $500, plus court costs of $277. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, reimbursement fee of $15. Your total monthly installments, that is The total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation is $154 a month. Are you able to pay $154 a month? You are? You will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Now, are you working? How are you able to pay the $154 a month? Oh, so you have money saved up? Oh, okay. Now, did you finish high school? Yeah, okay. Now, let me do this here. I need to give him that. Okay, now, you also be required to perform 80 hours of community service and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Mr. Houston, do you understand the state's offer? Do you understand the state offer? The state offer that you serve 1 year deferred probation, that you pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $277, that you pay probation fee, $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, reimbursement fee of $15, and that you perform 80 hours of community service. Do you understand that? Now, do you think that the state's offer is fair and just? Do you accept the state's offer? Okay, now, Mr. Houston, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. This will conclude your case. Now, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not result in a conviction on your record. And you may qualify for a non-disclosure. That basically means your record will be sealed to the general public. You can talk to an attorney about the non-disclosure in this case. Now, I'll follow, as I mentioned, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement with the state. I'm going to also give you, do you live in Beaumont? Okay, well, that's a good place. That's where I'm from. I don't know if you heard of a place called the Night Ward. Okay. Desire Projects. Okay. That's where I was raised. Went to high school called Carver, the Carver Rams. That's where I went to school. Okay. So I'm from New Orleans. So you're going back to New Orleans? Is that correct? All right. Now, tell your probation officer that you do not live here, and they'll be able to transfer your probation to New Orleans. Okay, so you won't have to try to report here every month, but you need to tell them that, because if you don't tell them that, they won't know. Okay, so Mr. Houston, as I mentioned earlier, if you successfully complete this probationary period, the case will be dismissed, which not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. Now, Mr. Houston, you're going to follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following his directions, you'll be free going your blessed day. What high school did you go to? Higgins? Yeah, okay. Yes, is that cross, yeah, across the river, yeah, okay. Sir, did you come from New Orleans way? Okay. So y'all got up pretty early this morning, or y'all came? Okay. You gotta drive back, yeah. All right, y'all have a safe trip. All right, y'all have a blessed day. I guess I should say, who that? Who that? All right. Yes, he is. Is it Tompkins?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tompkins?
Oh, let's give him his dismissal, Judge.
Who?
Oh,
Who had it? Oh, she, you.
What's going on?
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Okay, we got Mr. Tompkins. Okay, Mr. Tompkins. Here we go. Mr. Tompkins, you have two cases. They are cause numbers 23 CCCR 1432 and cause number 23 CCCR 1519. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Aaron Jerome Tompkins. Mr. Tompkins, is that your full name?
Your Honor, did you want to swear him in or?
I haven't got to that
Oh,
point
I'm
yet.
sorry. I didn't-
Okay, now, Mr. Tompkins, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Tompkins, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Tompkins, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Tompkins? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Tompkins, you are represented in your cases by your attorney, Attorney John Macy. Attorney Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor.
And Mr. Macy, do you waive a record in Mr. Tompkins' case?
Yes, Your Honor.
State is represented in these cases by Attorney Andrew Hubel. Attorney Hubel, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge, and yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. I'm Mr. Tompkins. I have before me on my computer a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, Mr. Tompkins, it alleges that you, Aaron Jerome Tompkins, on or about June 3rd of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of reckless driving. Mr. Tompkins, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Tompkins, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty and no contest. Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Mr. Tompkins, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there were a set of initials, AT, that are on a line next to a box that's checked no contingent, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature? And I have before me a document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line? It's titled Defendant. At the top of this document, there are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Now, Mr. Tompkins, before you signed and initial these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah.
Mr. Tompkins, are you a citizen of the United States?
States one.
No objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. You need to probably take one of these numbers out because I think that this number is for this case.
Yes,
This discovery is on, that case is being dismissed.
right. But I did get the discovery in it, but.
Yeah, but I mean, it's,
Which one did you get the discovery for?
I got discovery for everything as far as I know.
yeah, but I mean, but the
Okay,
case
which
is
one?
pleading.
But
You don't need a
this is,
discovery or dismissal.
plea And this is the dismissal. Right. So we'll scratch this one.
Okay. Mr. Macy, you've advised and counseled Mr. Tompkins. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Tompkins, your attorney, Mr. Macy, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Tompkins, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
For defendant's plea, the state is up to 30 days probation for 6 months with a $200 fine and 40 hours of community service. The remaining UCW case will be dismissed for forfeiture.
Okay. Mr. Mason, were you appointed in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is this court cost?
Tompkins?
Yes.
Okay. It's 330.
330. Okay, Mr. Tompkins, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you would not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail unless you be placed on probation for a period of 6 months. During the 6 months probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $200 plus court costs of $330. Probation fees of $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, reimbursement fee of $15. And Jefferson County court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. Your total monthly installments. In this case, that is the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month is $249 a month. Will you be able to pay the $249 each month? Yes, sir. You'll also be required to perform 40 hours of community service and adhere to the other standard terms of condition of probation. The state is offering to dismiss cause number 23CCCR 1519 for forfeiture of a weapon. In that case, I have before me a document. I have before me a document that is titled Motion to Forfeit. You recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line? It's titled Defendant. Now, before you signed this document in cause number 23CCCR 1519, did your attorney go over this document with you? And did you read and understand everything that he went over? Is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Yes. And are you asking this court to grant this motion? Yes. To forfeit the weapon to the Beaumont Police Department. Our court is signing a motion forfeiting the weapon to the Beaumont Police Department. Now, Mr. Tompkins, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer? Mr. Tompkins, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Tompkins, this will conclude your cases. Please stand in front of the court coordinator. Follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Macy, this is your last 2 cases. You're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day. Next case
son, so. And I sent you Houston back, you can sign it last page. This is so.
Okay, I just signed the dismissal.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna sign Houston. Okay. I just signed, sent that to you. Next case is cause number M 330-272. Case is filed State of Texas versus VA Econ. That's our bench trial. Ms. Econ, your full name is VA Econ?
Yeah.
Ms. Econ, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's good. Ms. Econ, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Laura Peraza. Ms. Peraza, how are you doing?
You're my honor, thank you.
That's good. Now, Ms. Peraza, I have before me a document that is titled Waiver of Jury Trial. And there's a signature. Ms. Econ, is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Peraza, is this your signature? And I guess is that your signature, Mr. Hughes?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so the court is approving this waiver of jury trial. State, are you ready?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready?
Defense is ready.
Okay. At this time, Mr. Hubel, would you please read the information?
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas comes now the undersigned Assistant Criminal District Attorney of Jefferson County, Texas, on behalf of the state of Texas, and presents in and to the County Court at Law of Jefferson County, Texas, that in Jefferson County, Texas, DI Econ, hereafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about July 10th, 2021, did then and there intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly cause bodily injury to another, namely William Dwayne Smith. Hereafter styled the complainant by punching and scratching complainant about the face and neck and biting complainant in the leg. And at the time of said assault, complainant was a person with whom defendant had a dating relationship against the peace and dignity of the state.
Okay, now Ms. Econ, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Now, state, would you like to make an opening statement?
State waives opening.
Defense?
Defense waives opening.
Okay, Mr. Hubel, you may call your first witness.
State calls William Dwayne Smith.
William Dwayne Smith,
Yes, Your
would
Honor.
you please call William Dwayne Smith for our store?
No response, Your Honor.
Okay, state, would you like to call another witness?
State has no further witnesses. May the state make remarks?
Yes, you may make a statement.
Thank you, Judge. The state has made contact with the complaining witness, William Smith. During that conversation, Mr. Smith has made it clear to the state that he does not intend to proceed with charges or to appear here in court.
Okay. And does the state rest?
The state rests.
Ms. Peraza?
Your Honor, at this time, I would move for the court's instructed verdict of not guilty and a judgment finding the defendant not guilty.
Okay, that will be granted. Ms. Econ, you have been acquitted of these charges. Your attorney is going to get a copy of the judgment. Once you get a copy of the judgment from your attorney, you're free to go. You have a blessed day. And Ms. Peraza, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, it should take a few minutes.
This is an assault now.
Yeah.
Judge, I didn't know you were from New Orleans.
Yes,
Interesting.
It's only just that I haven't changed it. My favorite city.
Mhm.
One of my favorites. A couple, but that's in the top three.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ada.
A nice right back home. And I could go for free. There you go. There you go. Is this a call for celebration?
Well,
Like another case though.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Ms. Furlow, your full name is Catherine Millie Furlow? How are you doing, Ms. Furlow?
Pretty good.
That's good. Now, Ms. Furlow, your case was set at 9 AM. Your attorney was here, Mr. Ryan Matuska. And we called your case, I guess it must have been about 10:55? Yeah,
That's good, bad.
yeah, about 10:55. You weren't here. The state moved for a bond forfeiture, the court forfeited the bond state. You have a motion?
The state's going to recall the warrant.
Okay, so the state is gonna withdraw the motion for bond forfeiture that will be granted, so you do not have your bond forfeited. The docket sheet indicates that you have a felony case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
When is that case set?
I called, actually, I was here earlier and I called them, it's for September 15th.
September 15th.
Yes,
13.
the 15th.
13th.
She's saying 13, she's looking at the
Okay.
computer.
I'm sorry.
September 13th.
Okay, I thought she said on the phone.
Okay, so we're gonna reset. Now, state, you have any objections to the court resetting this case on the same date of a felony
The
case?
state has no objections, Your Honor.
We're gonna reset this case on the same date of your felony case. Give us a reset.
September 13th.
September 13th, 2024. Now, Ms. Millie, Ms. Catherine Millie Furlow,
Yes, sir.
on that date, you need to make sure you come here first, check in with our bailiff. And because the bailiff will be calling the docket promptly at or before 9 AM. So you need to be here. Like my band director used to say, Mr. Dr. Isaac Craigs, he said that when you 15 minutes early, you're on time. When you're on time, you're late. So you need to make sure that you get here early so that we don't miss that you don't miss answering when your name is called. Now, when you come here that day, you're gonna check in here first with the bailiff, then go down the hall to the felony court. And once you finish in felony court, you come back here, finalize your case, and they'll let us know what's going on with it. All right? So you can get your reset. Once you get your reset, Ms. Furlow, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too.
You're welcome. This will conclude the calling of the court's announcement docket on today's date, June 21st, 2024, in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed day. And prosecutors, you are excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome.